Guys, you're welcome back to Good Care Tech. So today I'll be telling you how you can mount your external device like your USB on Kali Linux. So in case maybe you come across any stuff that you want to copy file from it in Kali Linux, this is how it's been done. So um let me plug in my USB. First of all, let me show you something. So this is let me so actually Linux represent this is the file system of Linux. You understand? So the same way Windows have their own file system, Linux have their own file system. But the only difference is just their representation. You get the point. So um let's take for instance their storage device. So Windows actually represents their storage devices with letter. You understand? So if you want to, you can shrink from here, this particular storage device. If you shrink this local disk, the window will allocate it another letter. You understand? That's how window does. You get the point. But in Kali Linux is different. You understand? So first of all, like I said, this is the file system of Kali Linux. So if I do ls here, you can see how your this is the file system. You can see how all the files in Linux is being arranged. You see, so this is the home, for example, the home directory. Uh, you can see this is the home from home to Kali, Kali to download documents, blah blah blah. You can see so this one here, this binary here is the two balls where you get your two balls, your for example your your executable commands and all the rest. So we are not going into that for now. So let's see into device. Sorry. So the dev here means device. So if I do ls, you can see these are all the current devices in my computer in this Kali Linux. You understand? So like I showed you the way Windows represent their local device, with letters. In one of Linux this is the way Linux represent their own local disk. So let me see where it is. Oh, sorry. Okay. I can see it here on my eyes. Ah, okay. So this is it. So Linux represent their storage device with SDA. So the SDA means first SATA hard drive. You understand? So the one here, the SDA one here means uh, it means the partitions. You understand? The same way we can the same way we can partition this one, the same way we can partition this local drive here, you understand? The same way we can partition it, the same way too here in Kali Linux. This is the partition of this versatile hard drive, you understand? So I'm not going to delve or deep inside it, so you will not just get confused. You understand? So imagine I plug in my so it's Linux represent their own in the form of like this SATA hard drive, in alphabetical order too, you know, the this one if I plug in an external drive here, external storage device like my USB, you discover that this A here will now have something like SDB. You understand? SDB, like that. If I have more devices plugged in, we see SDBC, SDB, So if they have partitions too, you will see SDB1, SDB2, SDB, SDC. You get the point. So that is how Linux represent their storage device. So for you to see what I'm talking about, if I do def dv, you know, df. So this df here is a command to show it means disk free. You understand? Sorry. So you can see all the current mounted devices that is running on this computer. You can see my local disk here. You can see this SDA. This is my local storage. It has about 80 point something gigabytes. You can see the one I've used. This is the total storage. This is the one I've used. You understand? And this is the one that is available. This one that is left. So according to this, I have about like 20%, uh, used, I've used about 20% of my local disk. You understand? So it's all files. You get the point. They are all files. That is how Linux is. They are all files. So that's why it's called file system. You can't. They are like the way they are configured to So that's just the way it is. So now imagine I plug in my local disk here and I'll do that ls again. I'll do my study. You will see, so it will ask me to connect it to my virtual host, my virtual machine. So I'll connect to my virtual machine. So, oh, sorry. So you can see I've connected it. You can see initially this is the SDA, which is the my Kali Linux storage device. So you can see the SDB here. You get the point. So SDB means that this one there's a USB that I'm connected to this computer. You understand? To the Kali Linux. So the way it is here. So if, let me do lsblk. Let me run this command so you can see the list of diff that I have on this computer. So I also have this is the parts, this is the parts, the partitions, the pattern, the partitions of this is the partition of this one, and this is the partition of the LDB one. Get the point. So okay, so let me show you how you can mount this. So basically, if I do ls, so if you are doing, oh sorry, let me see this. So if you are mounting your storage device, you can mount it if you are doing if your the version of the Kali Linux you are using is the latest version that doesn't need you to mount automatic that doesn't mount automatically. When it mounts automatically, it mounts on this media. You understand? But if it doesn't mount automatically, it will mount on what? It will mount on this is where you will now mount it to. You understand? For you to mount, all you just need to do is to use a mount command. So you use a mount command. So but make sure that the place you are mounting it to it's a new folder. You get the point. Let's say for instance, let me see it to mount. Mesh mount, let me do ls. So this jar here, there's nothing inside. So you can create another one. You can decide to create another one. Sorry, you can decide to create another one you want using the mkdir, which is make directory there. But make sure that if I seed into this jar, if I do ls, you can see there's nothing inside. So because if you mount it on where there is item or there is file, it will overshadow the files. The file when you if you need the file, it's telling you it's not available. So you just use the mount command. So let me do ls. Let me cd back. Make sure you leave the directory if you're mounting. So cd cd dot dot. So if I want to mount, you can just mount here, use the mount command. So you now specify the location and the device you are mounting. So at this point, you are mounting my USB, you understand, to this folder, where this folder is, this jazz. So if I do enter, so ls, so automatically it has mounted. So how do I now confirm if my this thing has mounted? So that's why I will now use this free command. So if I click enter, that you can see you can see it's been mount on this. So it has been mounted. You get the point. So let me just end this video here. So maybe in the next video I'll show you just one simple command on. Okay, let's just do it. You understand? Let's just do it. So um from here to since you have mounted it, you know since you have mounted this thing, so you can cd to the directory. Let me cd to mount. Let me cd to mount. So if I cd, let me cd to mount. Since I mounted it, sorry. Since I mounted the CD to mount ls, then CD jar, so CD jar, if I do ls, you can see. So this is the, you can see the initially I didn't have anything on this. You see, initially I didn't have anything on this jar here. You understand? But when I mounted it, automatically I've, so what basically this thing can do, maybe you have a file you want to copy from Kali Linux, you know, instead of you don't have any way to connect, so you can just plug in your US device, mount it, then transfer those files to your flash drive or whatever, you know. It's also a way we work as a cybersecurity officer. Thank you very much. So next one, I will show you another command you can use to maybe just let's just end the video here for today. Thank you very much. Stay safe.